Monet does not win All-Stars 4, and Bob the Drag Queen takes her spot on All-Star 7. Let's see how that season plays out. Episode 1 is the Roomix. I believe Bob would win this. We saw everyone's performances but Bob, but we have seen Bob write the verses for several other songs, such as Super Queen, UK Hun, Clap Back. Bob can write a verse. She would definitely be the best in this challenge. Bob and Shay are going to be the top 2 of the week, lip sync to Old MacDonald. I think Shay would still pull this off, but it would be incredibly close. Jada and Evie are high. Episode 2 is the Snatch Game. I don't know who Bob would play, but we have seen Bob do comedy, we have seen Bob do Snatch Game. I am confident putting her in the top 2 with Jinx Monsoon, leaving Raja and Trinity as high. Bob and Jinx are going to lip sync to Rumor Has It. Bob is absolutely going to mop the floor with Jinx here. Jinx's performance to this song was pretty good, just not the best thing ever. This song is definitely in the category of songs that Bob would absolutely devour. She has such a unique style of lip syncing. I have no doubt that Bob is winning this. Bob has now won the first 2 challenges in a row. Episode 3 is the Ball. We know that Bob can sew, but I don't think she can sew well enough to be in the top for this week. Shay and Raja are high. The top 2 are going to be Jada and Trinity. They lip sync to Greenlight and Jada wins. Bob is still the frontrunner though at 2 stars. Next is episode 4. It is the Improv Challenge. This is the kind of thing that Bob would really excel in. All of that said, Monet's role, which Bob would likely get in this timeline, really doesn't have too much to do. That unfortunately means that Bob will be high along with Evie, and the top 2 of the week are going to be Jinx and the Vivian. The Vivian wins the lip sync to Love Will Save the Day. Next is episode 5, which is the Comedy Challenge. I think Bob, Viv, Jinx, and Raja would all do great here, but because we want win diversification, Bob and Viv are going to be high. Jinx and Raja are the top 2 they will lip sync to. I'm switching it around. Why'd you come in here looking like that? I think this is a song Jinx would really excel in. Jinx wins and moves forward as the front runner with 3 stars. Next is the episode 6 Girl Groups Challenge. Once again, this is an episode Bob would absolutely devour. We've seen her verse writing capabilities. She can do it like no one else can. Jada and Shay are going to be high, and the top 2 are Bob and Evie. Bob and Evie are going to lip sync to Better in Color, and while I think they would both do really well here, this is Evie's week to shine, and I think she would win. Bob and Jinx are now tied yet again at 3 stars each with everyone else at 1. As I expected, a lot of the season is just going to be Bob and Jinx trading blows. Next, we have the episode 7 Design Challenge. Bob can sew, but I don't think she would do as well as the other queens here. Shay and Evie are going to be high, and the top 2 are Jada and Trinity. Jada and Trinity lip sync to I Want Love, and Trinity wins. Bob and Jinx are still tied at 3 each. Now we have the episode 8 acting challenge. Bob would get Monet's role. I think she would be very funny. I think Bob could do it very similarly to her season 8 acting challenge. Unfortunately, she is not going to get the win here. She will just be high along with Trinity. The top 2 of the week are Viv and Raja. They lip sync to Super Freak. Raja wins. Jinx and Bob are still the front runners. No one is really able to touch them this season. Episode 9 is the TikTok dancing challenge. Bob and Jinx will become even more untouchable, both getting the win here with 4 stars each. Once again, I don't know exactly what Bob would do, but we have seen Bob do branding, we have seen Bob's personality. She has off-the-wall charisma. There is no doubt in my mind that she would win this. Her and Jinx now have 4 stars each. They are both guaranteed slots in the finale at this point. Episode 10 is the roast, and Jinx and Bob become yet again even more untouchable. They both win. I think they would both devour this. As great as Viv and Trinity were, they weren't able to outdo Jinx, and I don't think they would be able to outdo Bob. Bob is incredibly funny. I'm pretty sure, based off what I've read somewhere, she wrote a fair amount of the jokes in this roast. There is no way she is not going to be in the top 2 for this. Bob and Jinx are going to lip sync to Kings and Queens. Jinx falls in this lip sync, and it is actually shown in this timeline. Bob wins. Next is episode 11, which is the talent show. There are a lot of different directions Bob could go for in a talent. I think Bob would really succeed if she did like stand-up comedy, although that's a bit of a risk in a talent show. I also think that Bob could do really well if she did one of her lip sync numbers for a talent show. We've seen her do a lot of numbers to songs like It's All Coming Back to Me Now or Crazy. That is definitely the kind of thing she would excel at. We have seen in the past that production is willing to license specific songs for queens. I have no doubt that they would put out the money to get like Crazy or It's All Coming Back to Me Now just so Bob could slay. All of that in mind though, we need to keep this win distribution diverse, and Bob has already earned her way into the finale, so Bob is going to be high along with Evie. Shay and Raja are going to lip sync to Supernova. Shay is going to win, and both queens are going to get 2 stars, earning their way into the finale. I think 2 stars is a much more reasonable amount than 3. This leaves us with the final star tallies. We have Bob and Jinx tied in first place with 5 stars each. Raja is in third place with 4 stars. Shay is in fourth place with 3 stars. Jada, Viv, and Trinity are all tied at 2 stars. And Evie is unfortunately in 8th place with 1 star. Episode 12 is the finale, and since there are no ties in the star counts, Jada, Viv, Trinity, and Evie are all eliminated to participate in their lip sync smackdown. The losing queens' lip sync smackdown plays out somewhat similarly. Trinity is here instead of Raja, which will be a pretty big difference. Round 1, Evie and Viv lip sync to Push It, and Evie moves on. Then Jada and Trinity lip sync to Let's Hear It for the Boy. Jada wins and moves on. Jada and Evie lip sync. It is a very strong lip sync. I think Jada would do well here, but ultimately Evie is getting the win and will be crowned queen of She Done Already Done Had Herses. We are now at the final lip sync for the crown. Round 1 is Jinx and Shay. Jinx and Shay are going to lip sync to Judas, and as in the original timeline, Jinx wins, moving on to the top 2. The second lip sync of the night is Bob and Raja lip sync to So What. Bob would absolutely kill this, and we saw Raja's lip sync skills throughout the season. I don't think there's any way that Raja is making it to the top 2 here. Bob moves on. Looking at track records, Bob is at 4.18 with Jinx at 4. Bob and Jinx are going to lip sync to Swish Swish. Let's be honest here, Bob is winning this. As great as Jinx did on this season, Bob would do just as well, if not better than her. Bob would do much better in that final lip sync, and I think the fan vote would be close enough that Bob would pull it off. Jinx's main assets going into the finale were track record and fan vote. She is absolutely lost track record here. There's a shot she loses the fan vote to Bob. Ultimately, if Bob competed on the season instead of Monet, I think she would win. I think Bob would win whatever all-winner season she inevitably gets called for. The only queen, in my opinion, who has a legit shot at beating Bob would be Alaska, and I don't think production would bring them both back on a single season. There is no doubt in my mind that as soon as there is a second all-winner season, Bob is taking home the crown. Hey, it's Drag Race Rejudged. Do you want gay shit? Well then check out the RuPaul's Drag Race Rejudged YouTube channel and hit subscribe.